In this mini yoga flow, I invite you to connect to your creative and courageous core. Take a moment to connect right into your center. Maybe hands over your belly. And then we'll move with the breath. Inhale, opening your arms. And exhale, draw your forearms together, your head down, so that as you come into that exhale shape, you really squeeze everything to midline. Inhale, just opening up organically, following your rhythm, your breath. One more like that. Inhale to expand. Exhale, squeeze and contract. And then as you're ready, releasing your hands down. We'll find some continued motion here, flexion and extension for your spine. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, draw your navel back towards your spine, and then maybe adding in lion's breath. Letting it out with a sound of fierceness, letting something go right from that navel center. This is where you get to digest and process your world and also figure out what you don't want to hang on to. And we'll take this into some gentle twisting motions. So this twist is coming right from your midline, right from your center. You can set your arms out as if you're holding a tray, and rather than using your hands to facilitate a twist, let the twisting motion come right from your center. It's the muscles around your spine that allow you to explore the world without losing that tether of connection to your core, your creative, courageous core. Let's find some side body opening here. Leaning down into your left arm and contracting into the left side body. The opening on the right side will be a byproduct. We'll take it to the other side. Again, contracting into the right side body. Give it a good squeeze here. Shortening that space between your lowest rib and your hip. And then inhaling to center. I'm going to take this to the side and we'll start to wake up into the navel center a little bit more. Starting here with just some gentle movements, kind of rolling the spine back and up. Maybe with your hands behind your knees, maybe you free your hands. Just listening to how you can support the strength of your body. And then we'll take this a little side to side. So you can rock your knees one way and the other way. And this is just an organic way to wake up through the core of your body. You might use one hand on the floor for support. The other hand can lift and lengthen. Letting this feel good. Rocking, you might even lift the upper leg, right? So you let one leg rest on the floor, the other leg can lift. You might even take both hands off the floor as you rock the knees side to side and simply allowing the core of your body to help you navigate as you move away from center and back to midline. Again, you can lift a leg, you could rotate through your hands. Let this be creative, playful, fun. One more time to each side. Your movement, your play, your dance. And we'll come back to center. Maybe a moment just to hug over your knees, finding that contraction at midline. And we'll prepare to shift into Savasana or boat pose. You can have your hands behind your knees, or maybe you release your arms by the sides of your legs. There's neither right nor wrong. You can even keep your feet on the floor. You might even place your hands behind you for support, whatever allows you to stay open in your heart and connected through your core. We're going to lower down into half boat and lift back up. And again, there's options. You might place your feet down and use that rooting down through your feet to support the upper body to lower back. Or you might free the legs, lift them up, and move from Navasana boat into half boat and lifting, finding your variation, your strength of core, your equanimity in breath. And then let's lower all the way down onto your back. Once you arrive here, bringing your hands behind your head, and I'll invite you to take your right leg up towards the ceiling. Here you can keep that left foot on the earth, or you can extend your left leg long as you lift your head and shoulders up off of the floor. And then we'll switch it out. Again, you might take the right foot to the earth as you extend the left leg long, or you might extend your right leg long as well, hovering over your mat, connecting to breath and coming back. 2 feet on the floor, resting for just a moment, and then this time we'll take it into a twist. You have that option to keep the left foot rooted on the floor or lifted as you twist over toward your right leg. Let's switch it out. Lifting left leg, twisting towards the left, right foot can be rooted or extended. And then coming back to midline when you feel ready. This time, we're going to move from side to side, just allowing yourself to find a little bit of a cross crawl action. Maybe your legs are straight, or maybe you bend through your knees. Exhaling to each side, inhaling to center. Strength through the midline, crossing the midline. Feeling deeply connected all the way through and through. This is a coordination of upper and lower body right across the diagonal lines. Left hip, right shoulder, and vice versa. And then let's hug it in, letting your upper body rest. Maybe you circle your legs in one direction and the other way. Just little rotations over your sacrum, and then a few rocks on your spine, rocking back and forth. Eventually, we'll rock up and over the shins, and I'll invite you to come into a tabletop shape. There's some free movement here if you'd like, just allowing yourself to kind of wiggle around, integrating through your spine, integrating through your core. And then, if you'd like, lengthening through your right leg once again. So here, feeling that strength of the navel center that supports the lengthening of your limbs. You can also take your left arm in front, exploring how that lateral movement, that cross crawl integration between left side and right helps to strengthen that integrity of your center. Moving as you inhale, lengthen, exhale, contract. Finding your rhythm. And then I'm going to invite you to take a bit of an awkward shape. This is a movement of the left elbow to the left side, right knee out toward the right. Just feeling the strength that it takes to maintain that shape for a moment. And then knee, hand back to the earth. Your free flow. Slow or fast, wiggle it out. And then when you're ready, we'll find side 2. This time, lengthening your left leg out behind. Your right arm can come forward. Taking a moment to find your balance. And then exhale, knee and elbow. Under the body. Cross crawl here. Exhaling to center. Inhale, reaching away, but keeping that connection to your core. We don't give it all away as we reach into the world. All right, you can see it a little differently on side 2. So again, my right elbow is bent and right arm out to the right side, left knee bent, left knee to the left. And then let's go ahead and extend and release. Move it through any way that supports you here. Some barrel rolls. And then I'm going to invite those little contractions into the side body once again. It's a C curve of the spine, and you can turn and gaze at the opposite foot. It's like wagging your tail and finding it behind your body. A little rapid movement, breath, movement together. It can feel so good. All right. And then wiggle it out once more. From here, maybe you'd like to drop down onto your forearms, send your feet back, and extend yourself into a forearm plank. In this shape, maybe a little bit of movement, gazing back towards your toes on the exhale. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Your hips can lift and lower with this movement, and we're really closing the gap between your lower ribs and your hips, your pelvis. Feeling that, and then lowering down. We'll find a Sphinx pose here. Elbows onto the earth, just feeling a bit of lift through your upper body, long through your neck, and then softening to the earth. Now, since our core wraps all the way around front to back, I will invite you to take a few lifts, hands-free lifts, of your chest, your shoulders, your head, waking up through the core that resides around your low spine. So allowing yourself to lift and lower with the breath, your rhythm, a little bit fluid here like you're flying. And then maybe just a breath of a rolling cobra, palms to the earth, before finding a second variation of these spinal strengtheners, back of the core, connecting your hands into a variation of locust pose, Savasana, interlacing your palms, interlacing your fingers, lifting through your head, shoulders. Maybe you lift through your legs, your feet. You can explore how it feels to resist gravity. And then when you're ready, to soften back down to the earth. Maybe a moment turning your head to one side, resting your forehead on your hands. You might rock your hips a little side to side. And we'll find another variation. So you can, of course, go back to any of the previous variations, or if you would like, reaching your hands back, bending your knees, you can stay right there. Or maybe you clasp the tops of the feet or your ankles, coming into a bow pose, Dhanurasana. You might move a little bit with the breath, rocking across the belly, feeling the strength of your legs to open across the front of your heart and chest. And when you feel complete, softening to the earth, maybe turning your head in the opposite direction, maybe rocking your hips a little side to side. And then an invitation to press back into a wide-kneed child's pose. It's allowing your feet to come together, knees wide, softening down toward the earth. Arms can be in front, or you might wrap them around behind you, by your sides, really just listening to what serves your body, your practice. Now, after that brief pause, that brief rest, I'll invite you to bring that creative core as we come into a few heart-opening shapes. We'll begin with a camel, and you might take a moment to tuck your toes under, lifting up onto your knees. Hands can support your low back. And then as you prepare to find a lift and opening across the front of the chest, I'll invite you to really tether your low ribs to each other. Really keep that connection of low ribs to the center, down towards your hips, so that you feel that strong connection as you open up through your heart. It's like we're giving ourselves to the world, but we're not giving it all away. We don't lose that key connection to yourself. Maybe your hands are interlaced, or maybe you place your hands down onto your ankles. In any form of camel, it's really that same action of keeping that core online and awake as you open up through the heart. And then when you feel complete, coming to sit onto your heels, Maybe a palm to your belly, a palm to your heart. Maybe you rest your hands down into your lap, or you simply find that open shape of allowing your arms to open by your sides. Once again, we can create such profound change in our emotional body simply by changing our physical body. We'll explore one more heart opener down back onto the mat, coming into some variations of bridge pose. To start by bending the knees, planting your feet, and we'll lift the hips, but bend at the elbow so that the fingertips are pointing towards the ceiling. That's a lovely place to start, and then maybe, as you've done before, interlacing your hands underneath your low back, using that connection as you roll the shoulders underneath, and that will help you to lift your hips, sending that cascading opening across the front of your diaphragm, your belly, all the way up into the chest. Now, when you settle down from this, I invite you to settle the hips first so that you keep a little arch in the spine as you soften to the earth. And then let the hands go. Even let the legs go. Just a brief pause in a mini Savasana before we go on, letting yourself assimilate this experience. Before we go on into our next shape, and this is an invitation to come into a variation of fish pose. We're going to tuck the hands under the hips, use strong legs, strong core to lift through your heart. You might choose to keep your chin tucked, or you might allow the head to roll back, but I want you to be very mindful of your cervical spine, finding a variation of this that really suits your body. Now settling back down, bending at the knees. You can take the feet wide and just like we started, just allow your knees to rock a little side to side. This unwinding motion of your legs can allow you to then soften them down to the floor, and then let your upper body just be moved by the legs so that you might actually just roll a little bit onto the lower shoulder. The upper arm can lift a little, back and forth, unwinding and integrating. Maybe you lift your knees. Once again, rotate around the sacrum before extending your legs long. This time, a longer rest in our Savasana. As you rest here, beginning to scan through your body. Any resisting of gravity, any holding that's not necessary, an opportunity to let that go. Perhaps you bring your awareness to your left foot and ankle, softening through your shin and calf. Left knee, left leg relaxed, left hip. Right foot and ankle, soft and relaxed, letting go through your shin and calf, your knee, entire right leg, hip. Both legs soft and relaxed into gravity. Softening through your hips, your low back, core awake yet relaxed, heart soft and open. Releasing through your left shoulder, upper arm, elbow, lower arm down to your left hand. Right shoulder, right upper arm, lower arm, down to the hand, the palm soft and open. Releasing through your neck, your throat, your jaw. Entire head is relaxed. Receiving this deep, restful pose, perhaps staying in your Savasana. Or if you are needing to or ready to transition on with your day, taking this soft yet strong body with you as you roll onto your side, eventually pressing up into sitting. Taking a moment here to connect to your courageous and creative core. thanking yourself for showing up for you today. Namaste.